If you saw the movie Anaconda, 1 through 4, you saw the largest rubber snakes Hollywood has ever made. Her name is Jade, and she's only 3. Last week at lunchtime, a kindergartner told me I was wrong. She told me Jade was Lipstick's mother. But she's not. She's a young anaconda. She's 3 years old. I'm not even 6 feet tall. She's reached 9 feet, but she doesn't look it to me, but my measuring tape tells me the truth. I don't really hold Jade. I let Jade hold me. She can wrap around me like I am a tree, but she's never hugging me. Kindergartners tell me she isn't big. They tell me that she's huge. Mother anacondas are credited with being the snakes that grow to be the largest in the world. Not the longest, but they weigh the most. 4 weeks ago, she shed her skin, but she still continues to look like she's wet when she's completely dry. So she's looking with her eyes and she's smelling with her tongue. Most likely she doesn't want to fall. She doesn't know I won't drop her. This snake has much bigger teeth than Lipstick and Chapstick, and the bite from a snake this size can certainly be incredibly painful. If I ever get to visit Brazil, I probably won't see a green anaconda in the wild. I think they have the most perfect rainforest camouflage. If Jade lived in Brazil, she could eat turtles and crocodiles, monkeys, mammals, and birds. Certainly these snakes get big enough to eat people, but we know that people are not usually a part of the diet of the giant snakes. For 10 years, researchers in Venezuela collected anacondas in the wild. They measured them, they weighed them, they figured out boys from girls. But after 10 years, the males averaged 9 to 11 feet. Females were slightly bigger. Yes, they can get 20 feet long, 25 feet long, but probably today, a giant snake is a snake around 20 feet long. And I was told years ago that many years ago, the Bronx Zoo, as a publicity stunt, announced to the world that they would give a box of money to anyone that could bring them a snake 30 feet or longer. And nobody ever has. But part of the agreement was that if they brought a snake to them, or they went to see a snake that was supposedly 30 feet or longer, the zoo would get the snake. And that was probably to ensure a safe return to the wild. The zoo, I'm told, traveled a few times. The snakes were rarely 20 feet long. The zoo gets the snake, and the people that have the snake get measuring tapes. 2 weeks ago, I offered Jade her first pig. The pig was slightly bigger than a football. I had been feeding her adult rats, and I wanted to start increasing the size of her meals. I've always been curious to know if the stretching of the stomach could have any effect on the growth of a giant snake. And of course, she had never seen a pig. She never met her mom and dad. What told her it was food was the way it smelled. It took her over an hour, and she swallowed the pig. But then she began prowling in her habitat, and she kind of looked at me, and I kind of thought, yeah, she wants another pig. And I'm sure she would have taken it. But I don't want to underfeed, and I don't want to overfeed. When this happens, kindergartners are convinced she's escaping, and they usually leave the front row heading for the door. I think she's just slightly motivated and ready to do some exploring. But you know, if Jade's not in this box when I return tonight, I will be back at the museum in the morning to find her. But I won't look in a big open space with a lot of light. She will probably want to find a dark place where she can coil up, hide, and wait for a pig to walk by. But I'm sure there are no live pigs walking about in the museum. But if you're on your way home tonight and you can't figure out why your backpack is so heavy, maybe you think, well, it's been a long day and I have all these books and I have homework, and please return Jade to the museum in the morning. I appreciate your patience because she's just, of course, constantly growing, and I need to change the design in this bracket that holds the lid up for me. A beautiful green anaconda. There was a young man earlier tonight that came over to me a few times just wanting to know what is in the boxes. And he asked me to give him a hint. And I said, well, one, what did I say?
That it was
Thank you.
something like a really big water snake. And I was like, is it anaconda?
Yeah, I said they get, I'm sorry. You're right, you have a wonderful memory. I said they get really big and they're highly aquatic. And you said, is it a green or yellow anaconda? So I can tell you have been reading, and as much as it's not painful for me to say, on YouTube, because now when I ask most children where they learn about reptiles, maybe 1 out of 1,000 says books. It's always another source, and of course, that's fine.